minutes of stress.
Hey, you guys in the kitchen, get in here.
I
Do
need
you
it.
not realize Sarah is about to speak?
That's right, I need your undivided attention. It really is kind of long, and like I said, don't worry, it will be followed by music, and you will wake up. So, this is, as you know, Jamie and I had the great fortune of traveling together this year. And I wrote a little.
Fortune? They said origin.
So I wrote a little story about this.
Oh, good.
So this is just a little snapshot. It's called Norte envy, and Norte envy is defined as the psychological state or condition suffered by the denizens of the southern hemisphere when faced with such North American wonders as fine cuisine and duct tape. So this is ours. They're really into duct tape. So here it is, and like I said, let's take it for what it is. It's dawn in the campo, our last one here. In a few hours, we will be making the 2-mile trek down the road to catch the bus and head to Encarnacion. Jamie is asleep in the house, a wandering hut made of handmade brick and thatch. Out back, Becca, having ceded the tent to her brother, sleeps wrapped in a chrysalis of blue mosquito netting. I'm sitting on the porch in a weathered wooden chair watching the sunrise. A molecular swarm of gnats orbits crazily in my line of sight. Far in the distance, smoke rolls heavy and low against the pink sky, and I wonder if someone's thatched roof has caught fire. Lost in the morning songs of birds, frogs, and roosters, I'm jarred by the squeals and staccato grunts of a confinement hog operation. Sounds wrong, out of place. I don't recall seeing a hog shed anywhere around here. Then I realize that what I'm hearing is a troop of howler monkeys. It's funny, this little trip back to the sounds of my childhood. The land around here does look superficially like central Illinois, minus the corn and bean fields, minus the good black soil, minus the rabbits, raccoons, deer, possums. The land in Nambucoo district is marshy. Cows and horses can be seen belly deep in the water, nibbling the tips of reeds. The arable land is sandy and divided into small pastures and subsistence gardens with sweet potatoes, manioc, corn, peanuts, and melons. Small patches of second-growth trees dot the landscape. As for wildlife, birds and monkeys are the only animals that have been successful enough at dodging machetes, slingshots, and snares to thrive. While monkeys are typically heard and not seen, birds are vividly present. Storks and egrets lift their slow feet through the marshes. Gangs of parakeets scream their way between trees. Burrowing owls sit atop fence posts. The monkeys suddenly grow silent, only to be heard moments later, closer than before. They have moved into the copse that separates Caleb's house from Venencia and Fabio's. The same copse we trekked through last night on our way to what would prove to be one of the most memorable evenings of the trip. The night we introduced these poor souls, trapped deep in the southern hemisphere, to that culinary alchemy of chocolate, chemicals, and crunch, the s'more. About 9:30, we donned our headlamps and wound our way around trees and through fences that lay between Caleb's house and his neighbors. We found the family outside, preparing the long wooden dining table for their evening meal. A small cooking fire burned in the sand near the table. A gate-mouthed 8-kilo catfish lay, leaden and dry, on a smaller table nearby, waiting Venencia's knife. Most of Paraguayan life is lived outdoors. They eat, prepare meals, wash clothes, and drink the ubiquitous tereré together under trees or awnings. Because of this, they are always in the company of yard fowl, dogs, cats, and a wide variety of tropically huge and ravenously annoying insects. Beetles, like winged sumo wrestlers, careen towards bare bulbs that illuminate the scene. Caleb's pig, a little gilt with calico spots named Agatha, wandered by for a belly scratch. Having arrived too early for the flotsam and jetsam of the family dinner, she munched on a few of the beetles that had crash-landed before she moved off into the night. A toad the size of a head of cabbage emerged from behind the grain bin. After watching him slurp up all the beetles in a meter-square area, I began catching more for him. Soon the two youngest girls joined me, gleefully snatching the fat, buzzing insects and tossing them to El Sapo. He ate them so fast it was as if they simply vanished, an act of toad prestidigitation. Grinning at us, Fabio launched into a story about how when Laura, now 13, was a little girl, she would use these gigantic toads as dolls, catching them and scrubbing them until they were white. While the family ate their Christmas dinner leftovers, cow face, dorado, and the deceptively named sopa paraguaya, which is a cornbread concoction rather than the soup promised by the name, we borrowed machetes, grabbed our headlamps, and went in search of marshmallow skewers and seasoned marshmallow toasters. We all had a variety of opinions regarding the process. The optimal substrate for toasting, the economy versus performance of materials, and the appropriate degree of toasting, from tanning bread bronze to Cajun blackened. This evening, however, it was the shape and size of the toasting lance, which elicited the call and response of sibling bickering. Caleb, ever the testosterone-fueled 24-year-old, would whack off a branch of a diameter guaranteed to painfully violate the purity of any innocent marshmallow. Becca, the idealist, favored her skewers ready to wear good, straight off the rack. Her exhaustive efforts towards this utopian ideal involved a lot of excited exclamations, followed quickly by the prosaic language of broken dreams and harsh reality. Jamie, beyond the winds of youth, was all about the journey, and in this case, their journey was the machete. With a mastery born in the jungles of Costa Rica and come to maturity by decades of quixotically battling multiflora rose, she was a branch and artfully wielded a machete until there was nothing left but a flimsy, defeated twig. I was circumspect, having raised 3 children, 2 of whom were present, armed and dangerous, and having survived 3 older brothers, one of whom was here in some sort of Zen-like trance. What amounted to glorified toothpicks. I just watched and encouraged enough production so the variables would sort themselves out into a few serviceable skewers. Skewers in hand, we returned to the house and began assembling the materials we would need. Gladys, the 16-year-old, picked up a bag of marshmallows and tried to read the package. Marshmallow. Despite Becca's expert help, she consistently pronounced the A's as one would in Castellano. Meanwhile, Caleb demoed the initial s'more and ceremoniously presented it to the great-grandmother who set to work devouring his prototype. This distillation of American dream, pulled from the nonagenarian, the only phrase I've been able to understand of her heavily Guarani-influenced Castellano. Muy rico. The rest of the clan grabbed their skewers and set to work. Their facility was impressive. Granted, years of cooking over a fire would impart a certain flair for flame, but nothing in the world cooks like a marshmallow. It would be akin to driving an Escort all your life and then being put behind the wheel of a Formula One race car. These Paraguayans, though, seemed to have some sort of sixth sense about toasting them. Each one, from preschooler to grandparent, produced a finished product that was uniformly brown, puffed pinnacle of gooey perfection. Chocolate-laden graham crackers in hand, we sandwiched these morsels of delight betwixt halves, slid them off the skewers, and presented them to the toaster. Judging from the sticky smiles and rapidly diminishing bag of marshmallows, the family was impressed. To our surprise and delight, it was soon our turn to be on the receiving end of the exchange. Becca and Valeria, the youngest of the clan, share the same January 6th birthday. In light of this, and because it was Becca's last night in the campo, a cake was brought out that they had baked in the tataqua, a clay oven. It was 2 layers frosted with a thin, shiny white icing and drizzled with an overlay of a flour. They set it on the table, fronted by 3 s'mores, festively accompanied by a glittering, freestanding cardboard figurine of a beautiful girl in a white gown, curly left from someone's quinceaños party. A feverish round of photographs ensued. Now, as we hugged and said our goodbyes, we saw Gladys and Becca over by the table, plastic bag between them, giving the word marshmallow one last try. We all stopped and listened. Gladys cleared her throat, took a slow, embarrassed breath. Marshmallow. We Nortes broke into applause. Gladys had emerged from the epiphany of her insulin rush with the perfect pronunciation.